then we taught them how to learn how to strike.
So our first initial evaluation was on Nico. He was one of our star students. He just came in naturally, like he naturally had an ability to strike a ball. Seemed to come a little more natural to him than most other kids. He had a willingness to learn, so he invested most of his time and attention towards like, the activity we were doing. So that's another thing that helped us with like his swing and just overall like performance. Hitting, yeah, so he hit well without hitting the ball or without hitting the tee. Proficient hand-eye coordination. That's just something that kind of came natural to him. It is. And then, so we evaluated some of his things and kind of nitpicked without any intervention. And the one thing that we saw was you'll see on the video, it's like a hip swing through. So, I mean, it's just not the most proficient way to swing a bat. Yeah, if you saw it, there we go. So this is his first day rocking the cowboy boots. So he hits the ball well, like he's really focused on hitting the ball, not so much on the on his technique or like where his hand placement is, foot placement or anything like that. So just a strong focus on hitting the ball. So what we kind of like tweaked in his swing was foot placement. We brought mats in. Just kind of to give the kids a general idea where they should be standing, because some of them are like tilted or like facing back like that, so we just want them to be straight. And then some of the thing, what's the word for that? Long devices, yeah, so which is bat to ear, because some of them are like out here and just cocked up like this, so we just said bat to ear, and that's pretty simple for them to understand. And then the stomp and swing, we try to incorporate that. It's a pretty tough concept to get, but it's pretty much just like the leg raise like this and following through the swing. We have the next video.
Yeah, and we were pretty successful specifically with striking using these small little phrases, because at this age they're obviously not great at fully comprehending instructions, learning it, and really putting it into action. But with these, it was really easy for us to just over and over and over again say, stomp and swing, stomp and swing, stomp and swing, and they, that was just enough for them to understand just that much versus being like, okay, now pull the bat back, and so that was pretty effective.
Try to limit the amount of instructions given to them. And here's like the first time we introduced it, so it wasn't all the way fluid, but he has a general idea, and still a good swing. Next one.
And then this is day 3.
And see, it's a much more fluid. He whacks the tee pretty well, but like the swing is kind of what we were going after. So he did it naturally through instead of just like the stomp, pause, swing. So we felt successful on that part. He had some good swings on that. And then he learned how to pivot on his foot rather than like swinging his hip through like that. It'll develop just better form and yeah.
So our second subject was Avery. She was very young. She's only about 3 years and then like 3.5 months compared to Nico, who was 3 years and about 11 months. So it was kind of interesting to see the very vast development in that 7 months time, because Nico was a lot more advanced than Avery. Starting with Avery the first day, she kind of swung with one hand and then one leg up in the air. So it was kind of obvious that she had like no real idea of how like a natural swing went. And so it was interesting to see a very like baseline swing with the no prior knowledge. So here's the video. But she was able to do a very good job of actually hitting the ball. She still actually got the contact, so that was interesting to see. And then, so the methods of instruction, we brought 2 mats in order to keep both her feet on the ground and plant it on the ground and keep it right in front of the tee. We taught her to put one hand on the handle and one on the barrel, because it allowed her to have more control. And so she wasn't able to have them both down here be able to swing, but by putting them up here and slowing down her swing, she was able to hit the ball and have a better form. But we were only able to have her for 2 out of the 3 days, so we weren't able to get anywhere past that. But we did the same thing with the bat to the ear, and then we weren't able to do the stomp and swing. She just wasn't really ready for that. But yeah, she had overall more control. She was able to hit the ball and just better speed, and she had both feet on the ground, 2 hands on the bat, so we felt there was significant progress on that. So she still had a little spin around, which a lot of kids like to do.
That's just style.
Yeah, both feet on the ground, both hands on the bat, and she was able to strike the ball.
So our third subject was Brisa, and she was age 4, and she was interesting because she first came to us as a lefty, and we had seen this in a few of the kids that had tried to participate where they didn't really know where to stand or how to place their hands or what to do, and Brisa came up as a lefty, but her hands were switched. So we took that as an indicator to switch her over to the right side, which is funny because we found out later on that as she's learning to write and whatnot, that she's actually a lefty. But we were able to teach her pretty successfully on the right side. But she had a pretty natural ability to strike. She had really good hand-eye coordination. Was our initial evaluation of her. You can see that here. So even though that looks like a pretty good swing on the left side, the fact that her hands were switched was our indicator of why we should switch her over. And then our methods of instruction, obviously altering the hand position, and then she was more advanced enough, like Nico, where we taught her to do the stomp and swing, and she took it really well. She had a very exaggerated stomp and swing, and I'll show you that here. So even though she knocks the tee over a little bit in that, she overall did a really good job on the second and third day, taking our instructions really well and improving in that sense. She was really good with her foot positioning, and her big thing was that she really wanted to hit it as hard as possible. So a lot of times the instructions would go elsewhere in order for her to hit it as hard as possible.
The biggest similarities between the 3 and the 4-year-olds was they did have pretty good hand-eye coordination, which was kind of surprising. For the most part, they would hit the ball and not the tee. There was a few kids who would mostly hit the tee, but overall we'd say the hand-eye was pretty good. They all enjoyed doing the activity. We had at one point probably like 6 kids just lined up, everyone wanting to go. The biggest difficulty for them was the coordination was upper and lower. So like Nico, he would do the stomp, and then he'd look up at us for like approval, and then he would come back, and then he'd kind of do it again, and then do the swing. So he wasn't really able to coordinate between his legs and his arms. And then the fine motor control was kind of just like the little things, just as far as like the little things in the technique, their hands, their wrists, and everything like that. And so that was pretty difficult for all the kids in general.
So the differences, I guess biomechanically was like their balance. 4-year-olds had just more muscle mass, and like if we were talking about Brisa, for example, she could just generate more force going through the ball as opposed to like Nico and Avery. The attention span, 4-year-olds were much more attentive and able to like kind of take in the instructions you were giving them. Definitely, like, there's a couple 3-year-olds I was trying to teach how to swing, and there would be like a car driving by or like a lawnmower, and then all of a sudden they go from like focusing on the ball to all of a sudden looking over here. So the attention span was definitely different. High level of comprehension, that kind of goes with it. Just able to incorporate the leg kick or the stomp and swing more effectively than the 3-year-olds. And then more advanced motor program. Could just, I guess, take our advanced instructions, like I just said, the leg kick and switching sides. The 3-year-olds weren't necessarily able to do that as well as
So the males and the females, we thought that overall they all had a pretty similar striking ability from the beginning. I mean, obviously Avery versus Brisa or Avery versus Nico, you know, she was really our lowest level star, but in general, most of them were able to at least get the ball off the tee, even if the tee was with it, which was interesting. And then kind of going along with self-esteem and self-concept and all of those ideas, we noticed, you can see in that video of Nico where he looks up at us for approval. At this age, everything is really like instant gratification for them, or it's really based off of rewards and stuff like that. And we didn't have to provide any incentives for them because they really enjoyed this task. I mean, being able to swing a bat and all that was really exciting for them. But they did, a lot of us really did seek approval, and that's why a lot of them tried to hit as hard as possible, because it was just that instant gratification, seeing how far the ball would travel and stuff, versus, you know, they didn't really care about learning the skills particularly, even though that's what we were trying to get them to go for. It was more about how hard they could hit it, or stuff like that. And then the differences between them, the boys were overall better at doing the stomp and swing, and the girls were a lot better at fixing like their grip and about pulling up to their ear. So we thought that overall it was just boys are generally better at gross motor skills versus girls being better at fine motor. And then most of the girls, that we had a few girls come up that were able to swing on the left and right side, even not with the right hands, and that was a lot more girls than boys. So I'm not sure exactly what the correlation is between the two of them, but we generally noticed that girls were better at being ambidextrous. And then we also noticed that a lot of the girls like to participate for the social aspect, so, you know, they all line up behind us waiting for their turn and talk to their friends in line, versus the boys who just kind of wanted to be aggressive and swing the bat. And that's it.
Questions, comments?